So how do you know what size a pot to put your peppers in? So most of your pepper varieties, your habaneros, your ghost peppers, banana peppers, you can definitely get away with a 3 to 5 gallon pot. These are the minimum size. You could always go bigger, but these are the minimum recommended sizes. So if you go to a 1 gallon pot here, your plant's really not going to be able to have a very successful growing experience in something like this. So avoid your 1 gallons and look for your 3 to 5s at that minimum. If you're growing larger peppers like poblanos, bell peppers, I have some Advarskis, the pepper itself on those are really quite large, so you're going to want to make sure that you've got an even larger pot. So that's where you're looking at 7, 10, even your 15 gallon pots, or even looking at planting into the ground. I don't have much success planting in directly into the ground here, so I need to do mine in pots. So the bigger the pot, the better, particularly for those larger varieties. So another option is if you've got some large pots and you're planting some smaller varieties, say habaneros, if you've got some large pots, you can plant 2 per pot. So they like to grow together. Pepper plants like to hold hands, unlike tomatoes. Pepper plants will grow quite nicely together in the same pot. So if you've got some larger containers that you'd like to use up, consider planting more than 1 into the container. You definitely need to err on the side of the larger container for that, and it doesn't affect their productivity either by doing that. Another option to plastic pots are grow bags. So this is a root pouch 3 gallon or 12 liter grow bag here, and these make a great alternative to plastic pots for pepper plants. So I'm going to plant these little chocolate habaneros into a couple of grow bags. These are really a nice alternative because they do something called air pruning. So the roots, as they hit the outer edge of the bag, just sort of naturally prune themselves, and rather than coiling around the bottom of a plastic pot. So peppers seem to do quite well in that. You need to have it set up where it can drain, so not sitting in a like a drip tray underneath where it's going to be soaking in water, because peppers don't like to sit in water. So just keeping them in a place where they can the water can drain out, and you do need to watch that they are keeping well watered, because you get a higher degree of evaporation during the hot season because of the fabric sides rather than plastic. So just watch for their watering needs, but these are a really great alternative, and they you know, you can have quite a stack of them. So if you're limited on storage space, using grow bags to grow in is a very good viable alternative, and you just reuse them year after year. So pick up a good bag of organic potting mix for your peppers. This one has some additional organic matter and kelp and some peat moss in there for some good water retention. So this is a nice soil. I've had really good success with this one, but it's really going to vary depending on the region that you're in. Also a nice compost. This is just a local farm here that gives out the compost, and I used also a balanced fertilizer as well. This is just a 4-4-4. So I'm going to add a little scoop of compost in there, and choose a pepper. This is a 3 gallon pot, so I want to choose a pepper that this is an appropriate size for. I have some Advarskis in here that definitely would not be good enough for yet. So this is a banana pepper. This is a nice healthy looking plant. You can take off some of those lower leaves there as well. Not too many, but so that they're not in contact, the leaves aren't dropping into the soil. And you also want to check it over to see if there's any flower buds. I know some of these ones I'm doing today have flowers already, and you want to pinch those off. So the fish pepper right here has some little flowers on them, and you want to take those off because you don't want it concentrating all of its efforts on producing fruit. When you transplant them, you want their energy to go into the leaves and to developing a root base, not fruit. So you can just tip it upside down and press on the bottom of the pot. You can see how the root system here, they're starting to coil around, so it definitely needed to get out of that small 3.5-inch pot and into its bigger home. It's also a good time to add just some general well-balanced fertilizer into the mix, and mix it up a little bit so it's not in direct contact with the roots of your new plant. And then in it goes. You want to press that soil nicely around it so that it's firmly seated in there. Also add a little layer of compost across the top so that as it gets watered, the nutrients will seep down into the soil. I also add a handful of straw for mulching across the top that helps keep the water from evaporating when you've watered it, especially as they're out in the hot sun. This is the first year that I've grown this pepper. It's a fish pepper, and it's variegated, as you can see. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it's the first time growing this, and just for the foliage alone, I think it'll be one that makes my list for future years. If anybody that's watching has grown these before and has any tips or tricks to growing these ones, I'd be happy to hear from you in the comments section. Last thing that you want to do is make sure that you're giving them a good drink of water.